Jenna Pashley Smith. It's an honor to be invited to be a Spotlight Poet, and I'm so excited to be able to share some of my poetry with you today. The first poem that I will read was published on Medium.com earlier this year. It is called A Cast of Hawks. A cast of hawks, or eagles' convocation, gathers above a field recently cleared of mesquite and muscadine. Held aloft by currents, their silent shadows drop upon murmuring oaks, slip through the canopy to enter the dreams of budding pecans in tight green cocoons, send shivers into dark burrows where mice hold tiny breaths. The falconiform spiral, a feathered cloud form swirling in the blue. What draws these solitary hunters? What change is in the air? A primal fear shudders my lizard brain as I, too, seek shelter from the winged storm. This second poem is, I believe, unpublished, though it was entered in the Poets Northwest contests a few years back. I wrote it on a prompt for the contests, and it is called Cartographer of Memories. I carry my memories to the cartographer. He takes my box with gentle hands, requests no payment but time. It is all I have. In exchange, he will survey my emptiness, give it substance and form, probe its depths, and emerge with chart in hand. At our next meeting, the corkboard is arrayed in notes, photographs, dried flowers. He has penciled in mileages, plotted meandering routes. I recognize errant memories, trace the latitudes and longitudes of a past life, risen to altitudes I cannot now scale. When it is finished, the cartographer hands me a parchment whose topographical lines, etched like fingerprints, obscure layers of ancient histories, plumb valleys, circle back to the only road that matters, this dead end, a gaping chasm. I hold our whole world in my hands. I see every place we've been, every place I wish you were, every place you are no more. The mapmaker blots my tears from the paper, their stain remains. Maps change, he whispers, shows me where my sadness has bridged the gulf, opened up new roads, yet uncharted, unexplored. One of my favorite kinds of poetry to write are persona poems, in which I take on a different character and write through their point of view. The next poem that I'm going to read is the title poem for a chapbook that I created after coming back from Brazil, where I lived for 7 years, and it is called The Lonely Tourist Guide to Urban War Zones. Unlike many of my persona poems, this one actually has a lot of me in it. The Lonely Tourist Guide to Urban War Zones. I'm the lonely tourist, your guide to settled places. I'll lead you through the warrens of these shady urban spaces. There's no need for trepidation on this strange vacation. You won't regret a trip. It's a delightful destination. Don't be frightened by the label or the designation war. It's just a term that's coined by those who've never had the tour. There are families here, and churches, and parties in the street, yet also things to steal your breath and keep you from your sleep. Keep your camera in your pocket and don't point it over there. The boys are selling crack and pot. It's rather rude to stare. No one will steal your wallet, as it's a crime that doesn't pay. A thief can lose a hand or two when caught. That's what they say. Yes, you see a weapon, and it's polished very well. There's machine gun fire at breakfast, but it only lasts a spell. I'll teach you to identify the crackles in the night, what caliber, what distance, and trajectories of flight. If strangers in uniform should pat you up and down, think of it as free massage, for frisking is allowed. The answer to their questions is almost always no. They're looking for a bribe or two. Just pray, they'll let you go. The architecture is astounding. The graffiti can't be beat. and the view you get from many homes is surprisingly elite. It's not a place for everyone, protective clothing not supplied, but if you bring adrenaline, I'll make sure it's utilized. I'm the lonely tourist, your guide to settled places. A trip with me is hassle-free. I'm clever and evasive. Trouble doesn't stick to me, but if trouble should bother you, please don't try and punish me with an unflattering review. The trauma you'll encounter is a treat to carry home, along with bullet casings and the accidental worm. I'm the lonely tourist, and I promise you the best. So don't delay. Sign up today and be my first courageous guest. Changing ever so slightly, I'm now going to read from the persona of Clunas, who is a Midwestern farmer. This poem was published in 2018 in a public library's poetry contest, the Loudoun County Public Library. Clunas prefers Australorps. Clunas's favorite hen is blue-black, ringed and flaming in the right light like some feathered aurora borealis, fierce emerald, glittering to purple, bursting across the expanse of those wings. She is proud in the breast and greedy, lays golden eggs which he enjoys every morning, and hoards from Agatha, his wife, who tastes no difference in the color of the yolk. She sits on his lap when he naps in the hammock, the chicken, not the wife, to watch the leaves tussle above and nibble crumbs from his jacket. He'll do it, of course, when the time comes, but will take no pleasure in shaving that small avian soul off the face of the world, won't savor Agatha's stew, won't feel the same when he lays his head on that feather pillow to crave a dreamless, guiltless sleep. Cabin Girl was published in the 2016 issue of the Eastern Iowa Review. Sailing the cornfield seas, a pirate with dogwood blossoms in her sun-bleached hair swabs the rickety deck with redwood splinters in her knees. Cardinals, like sharks, come swarming to the chum of her scattered seeds. When the sun dips low and red skies flare with delight, the freckled buccaneer rings the ship's bell, watches the cows come home through the tasseled waves. And lastly, Portrait of a Kansas Farm Wife, which was originally published on utmostchristianwriters.com. Calico housewife, mother hen, pushes sweaty bangs away with a fleshy hand. Those heavy hips in sensible shoes rock children, bear burdens, shake cotton sheets to the wind. She is a sturdy tower, Sunday school teacher, potluck supper staple, this saint of cornfields and the practical, rarely complains. But her soul is that of a Himalayan nomad, the tent of her heart hung with multicolored woven tapestries, exotic and unrestrained. She leads her flock of unanswered questions on narrow paths above the tree line, waits for God in the stillness of the tundra, the knife edges of these heights inducing prayers like vertigo. Plainswoman, nomad, kitchen mystic, beloved child of a mountainous God, she carries her contradictions like icons, kneads bread dough, wrestles with the divine. Thank you again for this opportunity, and I hope that someday in the future I will get to meet you at a poetry event. Thank you so much. Goodbye.